Well, Adam, I'm standing at the location where Jim Hess of Messer Construction is due to come out and give a statement to the press, and we're waiting on that right now. Still no sign of Mr. Hess at this point. I spoke to Jason Mullins. He is the business manager for Ironworkers Local 44 about an hour ago, and we talked about what some of the possibilities are that caused this collapse. And I asked him questions like, what would you want to know if you were investigating this? You know, in terms of what could have failed to cause this. But with Mr. Mullins' assistance, I have put together a sketch diagram of what this may have looked like. And I want to ask Ronnie Fisher to come in a little bit. What you're looking at there is the box with the arrows pointing at the center. That is where Mr. Mullins hypothesizes that the failure point was, where you have beams that should be going across and then go ahead and both slope down. Okay, so the slopes down is where the corrugated steel and the beams failed, and that the iron workers more than likely tumbled down, or at least slowly fell down the slope, bumping into rebar and mesh along the way. And you can see down in the lower right-hand corner of my diagram here, you have the waves there. That is corrugated steel. That is what the concrete is actually poured into. So it's a deck of corrugated steel. And forgive the stick figure, but these men walk around inside the concrete. They are wearing rubber boots, and they walk into the concrete while it's still liquid. And then you can see the slope here is that where the failure was, more than likely the men tumbled down sort of a maybe a 45 or even steeper slope down about 30 feet down below. So that is what Jason Mullins, he's a union representative with Ironworkers Local 44, hypothesizes at this point, is that there was a failure at one of the vertical columns. We have some of that interview, and we'd like to show it to you right now.
More than likely it would be an engineering issue. Okay, that the beam wasn't engineered to carry that type of load. Okay, that would be number one. Number two would have to be some sort of a factory designed error when they put it together. So you asked me about bolted or welded.
Yeah.
If it was an insufficient weld that was done in the fabrication shop, then that could be the reason. Besides that, it would just have been human error.
And that human error could be perhaps not putting as many bolts on the I-beam onto the vertical column as should be. We don't know that at this point, but again, these are questions that Jason Mullins wants answered, and he basically said that if he were able to take a look at it, he'd be able to say what in fact happened. Now, the OSHA inspectors are due to come out here on scene today. We have not yet seen them, if they are here in fact, so we will be keeping an eye out for them again. But we have a situation in which, again, this was not a 30-foot straight vertical fall, but rather a situation in which these men more than likely tumbled down sort of a maybe 45, 50, 60-degree incline, bumping into rebar and other mesh and the corrugated steel on the way down. So what he was able to say, too, speaking to some of the iron workers, is that, you know, maybe the most serious is fractured limbs, but that's out here. And I know we have Tom McKee